Good day, everyone. I am Miss Junaline A. Gongora, your subject teacher in III. And for today's video, or for this video lesson, I will going to discuss our fourth quarter topics. So let us first start with sampling design and methods in quantitative and qualitative research. So let us first define what is sampling. So sampling is a process used in statistical analysis in which a predetermined number of observations are taken from a larger population. Okay, so gaya nga ng na-discuss natin nung meron tayong discussion face-to-face. So, na-discuss na natin to. When we say sampling, okay, so ito yung pag na-narrow down ng ating population. Okay, so when we say population, ito yung pangkalahatan. Okay, so kapag sinabi naman nating sample, ito yung portion or part ng population. And para makuha yung sample or portion ng population, we are using sampling. So, kaya naman sinabi dito, sampling is a process. Okay? To determine our sample. Yung sample, ito po yung gagamitin po natin sa ating research. Okay? Ng mga respondents. So, we have the quantitative sampling techniques. Okay, so we have two, the non-probability and the probability sampling techniques. Under the non-probability sampling techniques are the convenience sampling, judgmental sampling, quota sampling, and snowball sampling. Under naman po ng probability sampling techniques are the simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, and other sampling techniques. Okay, so kapag sinabi po natin convenience, from the word convenience, so convenient, so dapat po yung ating mga respondents is convenient po sa kanila yung pagsagot po dun sa ating research or dun sa ating survey. So, one good example of convenience sampling is yung nangyayari po sa mga supermarket. So, kapag nagkakaroon po sila ng pa-free taste, so kung sino lamang po yung dumadaan sa kanila, yun lamang po yung nakakapagsagot po ng kanilang survey. So, another non-probability sampling is the judgmental sampling. So, when we say judgmental sampling, the researcher choose participant based on their judgment. Selecting buyers who's most likely to buy car. Okay, so from the word judgmental, ibig sabihin, yung pinipili po nilang respondents is naka-base dun sa judgment. Okay, so parang gina-judge ng researcher. So, yung example natin kanina, selecting buyers who's most likely to buy car. So, parang gina-judge ni researcher kung sino nga ba yung respondents na may kakayanan lamang na bumili po ng car. And then, quota sampling. Okay, so yung quota sampling from the word quota, meron lamang sinusunod na a specific number of respondents. And then the snowball sampling. So, snowball sampling is recruiting research participants through referrals from existing participants. So, pag sinabi nating snowball, nabanggit na din natin to nung ating previous discussion. So, referral. Okay, so for example, yung nabanggit natin last meeting, si Priscilla, may kakilala siya na kayang sumagot doon sa survey na yon. So, parang nire-refer lamang po ni Priscilla. Parang ganon. So, dahil nire-refer ni Priscilla yon, kaya kukunin ko as researcher yung respondent na yon. So, yon. And then, under our probability sampling techniques is the simple random sampling. So, again, random. Ibig sabihin, walang sinusundan na order. Systematic sampling, so kanina walang sinusundan, dito naman po may sinusundan or systematic yung pagpili, okay? And then the stratified sampling, the word is stratified, ibig sabihin merong strata, merong mga group of people, okay? So parang organization, parang ganon. Cluster, nabanggit ko na din po ito pag sinabi nating cluster, okay? More on ang pinag-uusapan natin is groupings din pero pumapasok po dito yung geographical or kung saan po sila matatagpuan or location. So, yun. So, yun po yung mga under po ng probability sampling techniques. So, we have the qualitative sampling techniques. So, first is the convenience sampling, defined as a group of individuals believed to be representative of the population from which it is selected, but chosen because it is close at hand rather than being randomly selected. So, gaya nga ng nabanggit ko kanina, from this definition, sabi dito close at hand. So, ibig sabihin, convenient dun sa respondent po natin, yung pagsagot po doon sa research. And then, next is the purposive sampling. So, the researcher attempts to obtain sample that appears to him or her to be representative of the population. So, you have a purpose on choosing that respondents. Okay, for example, ang purpose mo lang is to get the preference or the answer of the top 10 students among that class. For example, sa grade 12 Archimedes, ang gusto mo lang maging respondents because you want to know the preference of the top 10 or the with honors in your class. So, parang ganun po siya. Snowball sampling. The researcher initially contacts a few potential respondents and then asks them whether they know of anybody with the same characteristics that you are looking for in your research. Okay, so dito naman po, sa snowball sampling, gaya nga po ng nabanggit ko kanina, pag sinabi po nating snowball sampling, it is based on the referral. Okay, so parang nire-refer lang po siya. Next naman is the extreme or deviant case, learning from highly unusual manifestations of the phenomenon of interest such as outstanding success, notable failures, top of the class, dropouts, exotic events, crisis. Okay, so eto naman, nakadepende dun sa mga phenomenon or yung nangyayari. Okay, na nakakapag-gather po ng interest po natin. So sabi dito, crisis. Okay, so one good example of this is yung nangyari pong pandemic. So parang kukuha ka po ng respondents dun sa mga naapektuhan ng pandemic. So parang ganun po siya. Next is the random purposeful sampling. Still small sample size adds credibility to sample when potential purposeful sample is larger than one can handle. Reduces judgment within a purposeful category, not for generalizations or representativeness. Okay, so random purposeful. Okay, so eto naman is, yun nga, so lahat naman po yun is parang nina-narrow down yung ating number of respondents. Okay, but from the word random purposeful, so parang nire-reduce or binabawasan yung parang judgment or paglalagay po ng purpose in choosing our respondents. Next is the volunteer sampling. Volunteer sampling, samples are often drawn through advertising, requesting people to volunteer to participate in the studies. From the word volunteer, ibig sabihin, volunteer lang po yung ating mga respondents. Walang sapilitan. Okay? Kung sino lang ang may gusto. Next is the population. So, researchers get samples from a large group of cases called as elements. A sampling element refers to the unit of analysis or case in a population. It can be a person, a group of people, an organization, a document, a message, or an action that can be measured. A large pool of cases is called population or universe. So, nabanggit ko kanina, pag sinabi nating population, ito yung kabuuan. Okay, for example, the Kalibungan High School learners. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng learners from grade 7 to grade 12. Okay, population. And then, the subset of population is the sample. Next is the data collection and data analysis. Implementing data gathering methods. So, survey. Gather data by studying a sample population. Conduct a survey at one point in time or in several time periods. Ask students about their beliefs, opinions, characteristics, and behavior. So, yun yung example natin on how to gather data. So, first is using a survey. Next is by using a experimental research. So, determine if a particular form of intervention can influence a particular outcome. Do something to one group and none to another group, and examine how both groups manifested different results. So, yung experimental research, alam ko naman na aware kayo doon dahil ginawa nyo na po ito sa inyong PR2. So, meron kayong i-apply dun sa isang group, then sa kabila naman is wala kayong i-apply na intervention. So, parang ganon. So, for example, dito yung research nila Elmer. So, yun. So, gumamit sila ng commercial cleaning agent and then gumawa sila ng yung product nila which is yung eggshell na cleaning agent. So, parang ganon. So, i-compare nila if there is a significant difference between the two product. So, yun. So, yun yung experimental research. Next is the content analysis. So, content analysis formulate a research question that deals with the analysis of messages or symbols. Decide on the unit of analysis. Kapag sinabi nating unit of analysis, these are the main subject or the entity being studied. So, from the word analysis, ibig sabihin, you will analyze deeply. Okay? Will analyze deeply. So, by analyzing deeply, ito yung sinasabi nilang Socratic method. You will use a research questions. So, set of questions. And from that questions is ma-answer or you will gather kung ano man yung gusto mong maging result or ano yung gusto mong mag-gather na information from on your study. So, parang ganun. Next is the direct observation. Gather data through direct observation. Okay, direct observation. Participant observation. Write field notes while acting as a participant. Okay, participant observation. Kasali ka doon. Okay, you are participating in certain group. Okay. And then ethnography. Write field notes while observing. Okay, so observation. Interviews, focus group discussion, conduct face-to-face, telephone, email, and online interviews. Ask unstructured, open-ended questions. Okay, so interviews, focus group discussion. So, sabi dito, unstructured. So, wala kang sinusundan. Okay, so walang specific talaga na sinusundang tanong. So, parang from the answer of the respondents, pwede ka makapag-formulate ng questions or follow-up questions. Okay, next is the historical research. Gather primary and secondary sources. Establish the authenticity and credibility of sources. Okay, historical from the word historical. So, yung mga studies or facts from our past. Okay, so historical, history. Okay, so so gather primary and secondary data. So nabanggit na din natin to when you say primary, these are the first-hand information, while secondary, syempre from the word second, so second na lang siya. So parang, for example, pag primary, nandun ka sa mismong event nung nangyari yung kunwari yung nangyari yung aksidente na yun, andun ka mismo. Okay? Second hand, kapag kunwari, pag kunento mo na lang kung ano yung nangyari dun sa na-experience mo. Okay? That is the historical research. Okay, statistical analysis. Researchers use statistical analysis to examine numerical data which they manipulate and summarize to produce meaningful analysis. Particularly, in quantitative research, they use descriptive statistics analysis in which there are number of categories. So from the word statistical. So we are using statistics, okay, to analyze and to examine our data. Okay, so our numerical data. Next is the analysis could involve only a single variable called univariate, two variables or bivariate, or three or more variables called multivariate. Okay, so using table and graph, in quantitative research, tables and graphs are used to represent data. So data, tables show data results and they can be used to analyze data results. On the other hand, graphs can be used to explain data. Okay, so I know that you're familiar and nag-agree din naman kayo na when we are using table and graph, so mas madali po nating na-analyze yung data. Madali ding nakikita ng mga readers, ng mga panelists, okay, and the future researchers kung ano nga ba talaga yung result ng study mo. So parang gano'n. So table and graph are very important, okay, in our research. So, ginagamit po ito para mas madali, mas maayos, at mas naiintindihan yung result ng ating research or ng ating study. And also, tables and graph are also used to summarize, okay, para mas ma-highlight ano nga ba talaga yung nakuha po nating results. Next is the histogram. So, ito is one type of graph, a histogram. A histogram is a type of bar chart where the categories are in the form of ranges of numbers. It is used to show combined continuous data. So, when we say histogram, so sabi dito, parang kamukha daw siya ng bar chart. Pero po, di ba po kapag sinabi po nating bar chart, meron pong spaces between the bars. Pero pag sinabi po nating histogram, wala po itong spaces between the bars. And it is used in continuous data. Okay? So, continuous data dapat. Yung nakarecord po doon sa ating histogram. Okay, next is the pictogram. A pictogram is a special type of bar graph. Instead of using an axis with numbers, it uses pictures to represent a particular number of items. Okay, from the word pictograph. So, ibig sabihin, gumagamit po ito ng pictures. Yung sinasabi naman po dito na axis, these are the y-axis and our x-axis. Okay, so dun sa histogram po kasi kanina, meron pong mga axis yon. While sa pictogram, so hindi na po tayo gumagamit ng axis. But we are using pictures to represent our data. Next is pie chart. Pie chart looks a circle or a pie. Cut into segments, pie charts are used to show how the whole breaks down into parts. Okay, so ginagamit ang pie chart to describe the proportion of the whole to its parts. So parang ganon. So, minsan, it is also defined na kapag gumamit tayo ng pie chart is ginagamitan po natin siya ng percentage. So, kunwari, yung one whole pizza is 100%. Or yung isang buong bilog, kunwari, is 100%. That is the CHS learners. And then, for example, the 1/4 part or the 25% of that pizza are the grade 7 students. For example lang po ha. So, yun. So, ginagamit ang pie chart to show the relationship of the whole from its proportion. From its portion. So, parang ganon. Relationship of a whole to its pieces. Parang ganon. So, relationship of the whole population of Kalibungan High School and the population or the sample of grade 7 learners. Okay, next is the line graph. Line graphs are usually used to show dependent data and particularly trends over time. Line graphs depict a point value for each category which are joined in a line. So, I know nakakita na po kayo ng line graph. Okay? So, minsan, it shows the relationship sa bawat year, kunwari. Okay, so kung sabi dito, so ginagamit ito sa mga dependent data. Okay, so para makita yung mga trends over time. For example, sa number of enrollees sa Kalibungan High School. So para makita kung tumaas ba ang number of enrollees, number of dropouts. So ginagamit ang line graph para malaman kung tumaas ba ang number of dropouts sa ating school. Next is analyzing qualitative data. Okay, so our next topic is about analyzing qualitative data. So researchers propose explanations about the social world based on concrete data and specific context. They use general ideas, themes, or to make generalizations and conclusions. Okay, so ito yung how this is how it shows how to analyze a qualitative data. So, familiar din kayo nito dahil gumamit din kayo ng qualitative data during your practical research 1. So, gumagamit tayo ng thematical analysis. So, kaya sinabi dito, gumagamit tayo ng different themes, okay, on how to analyze our data. Okay, so number 1, developing concepts. Qualitative research focuses on the formation, refinement of new concepts that are based on data or evidence. The researcher organizes data into categories based on themes, concepts, or similar characteristics. Then, he or she develops new concepts, proposes conceptual definitions, and analyzes the relationship that exists among the concepts. He or she starts conceptualization after he or she has read and gone through the data from field notes, interviews, and primary and secondary. So, gaya nga ng nabanggit ko kanina, once na na-transcribe or na-translate na po yung ating mga response into English, so ang next na po na gagawin po ni researcher is to organize the data based on different themes. Okay, so ito na yung thematical na sinasabi ko kanina. So, ang gagawin po dito, pagsasama-samahin lahat ng mga magkakapareho ng sagot or parang magkakasama sa iisang theme. Okay, so for example, ang question mo is to ask their perspective about dun sa issue ngayon ni Rodrigo Duterte. So, for example, yung iba, sumasang-ayon na makulong po ang ating dating Pangulo na si Rodrigo Duterte. Then, yung iba naman is hindi naman sumasang-ayon. So, parang ganon. So, syempre, as a researcher, in doing that qualitative research, ang gagawin mo, pagsasamahin mo lahat ng mga sumasang-ayon. Pagsasamahin mo lahat ng mga hindi sumasang-ayon. And also, hanapin mo din kung ano yung reason nila, bakit sila sumasang-ayon. Ano yung reason nila, bakit hindi sila sumasang-ayon. And based on their answer, titignan mo kung meron bang nagkatugma ng sagot. And then, magkakasama po yung mga yon sa iisang theme. So, that is our thematical analysis. Next is coding data. This allows researchers to conduct a higher level of thinking and to move toward theoretical conclusions or generalizations. In qualitative research, data are coded differently. Researchers organize the data into conceptual groups or clusters to produce themes or concepts. Okay, so ito na yung coding. Magbibigay ka na ng code. Bibigyan mo na ng label yung mga result na nag-gather mo. So, parang ito na yung mas malalim na way on how to organize your data. Okay? So, you are putting labels. You are putting code. Okay? And then from that code, so, you may formulate your conclusions, your generalizations. Okay? So, based on the response of your respondents. So, parang ganon. So, pwede ka na makapag-formulate ng conclusions and generalizations. Next, so first, researchers perform open coding. They find themes and designate initial codes or labels in an initial attempt to synthesize the data into groups. They read all the data that they gathered from the sources and then assign a concept, a label, or subtopic to the data. Okay, so first nagagawin is the open coding. So pag open coding, this is only initial. So pasimula or pansamantala muna. Okay, initial coding. So arranging or synthesizing the data into groups. So parang ginugrupo-grupo mo muna siya. Okay, tandaan po, open coding. So after open coding, researchers perform eggshell coding. So they review and examine the initial codes, and these initial ideas are organized into ideas or themes. Then they identify the nexus of the key concepts in the data analysis. In open coding, the researcher finds causes, effects, conditions, interactions, relationships, strategies, processes, divisions. Then he or she clusters these concepts together to perform group or categories. Okay, so after the open coding, ang susunod naman is actual coding. Okay, so dito naman, okay, so after the initial is you will identify, sabi dito, the nexus of the key concepts. Yung pinaka-main na topic or yung pinaka-main na idea sa kanilang response. Okay, and you will arrange those ideas based on their main topic. So, parang ganun. So, iaayos mo na siya. Okay, so parang palalim ng palalim and then paayos ng paayos po yung pag-interpret or pag-analyze po ng ating qualitative information or qualitative datas. After actual coding, the researchers conduct selective coding. So they choose carefully from the cases that show themes and then make comparisons and contrast during selective coding. The researchers have already developed and elaborated more than one major theme. They have already organized well-developed concepts to conduct a general analysis or several core ideas. So, after labeling, next is hahanapin mo yung mga main idea dun sa mga response. Then, next is selective coding. So, yung mga idea na yon mamimili lang. Hindi naman po pwedeng ilalagay nyo po yung lahat. Okay? So, selective. Pag sinabing selective, mamimili lang. Okay? Mamimili lang tayo ng response na pwede nating ilagay. Okay, next po is the narrative approach. In historical research, data are analyzed by narrating details in order to develop a coherent, chronological, and well-organized history. So, according to Newman 2007, he describes that narrative approach can be used to analyze data. So he argues that there can be analysis in a narrative, but it is light and subtle. He further adds that in narrative method, a researcher assembles the idea into descriptive picture or account of what occurred. So the explanations then are not in abstract forms or theoretical models, but they are specific and concrete events. So narratives explains and analyze data according to the terminology and concepts used by the people under the study. So from the word narrative, so it narrates the details, okay, in order. Okay? It narrates the detail of your research. Okay, so that is narrative approach. Next is developing ideal types. So based on Max Weber's concept of ideal types are used as models or bases of mental concepts of social realities in qualitative research. So they are used as basis or standards to compare data that represent reality. Comparisons are made to determine how ideal types measure up with the specific cases in the real world. Ideal types are also used to interpret data in a manner that is sensitive to the context and cultural meaning of members. So in addition, they can be used as a form of analogy to organize collected qualitatively. So research apply analogies to express ideas and develop logical comparison. So developing ideal types. So kapag sinabi nating we will develop the ideal types, so ang ginagawa lang po natin dito is to interpret the data, okay, that is sensitive to the context and cultural meanings of members. Okay, so parang we are interpreting the data, but we are considering also the cultural beliefs of that certain area. So parang ganun. So parang nire-relate natin siya into a real life situation but also with consideration or with restrictions pa din. Next is the successive approximation. So researchers analyze data by repeating the research process that include asking questions, probing and creating data. Again, so number 5 is the successive approximation. So researchers analyze data by repeating the research processes that include asking questions, probing and creating data, and developing a theory until such time that the gap between evidence and theory fades away. So through the successive approximation, concepts, theories, and models becomes more accurate as they are modified over and over again. So by using successive approximation, researchers reanalyze the evidence with additional data and readjust the outline of the study and other idea and concepts developed to explain and analyze the topic. Okay, so successive approximation. Sabi nga dito, repeating the research problem. So, bakit yun inulit-ulit? Okay, so, sabi dito, such time that the gap between evidence and theory fades away. So, para mapatunayan yung isang theory. Okay, so, parang paulit-ulit nila siyang ginagawa. So, dun sa paulit-ulit na yun, so, syempre, nag-i-improve yun ng nag-i-improve hanggang sa yung theory is mapoprove na nila na tama. So, parang tatry ulit nila, itatry nila hanggang sa ma-prove nila na yung theory po ay tama. Okay, so and then sabi ko kanina, etong successive approximation is parang nagiging mas accurate yung data. Bakit? So dahil paulit-ulit siya, ibig sabihin, mas tama or mas reliable, mas credible yung nakuha po nilang data. Okay? Next is the research findings, conclusions, and recommendations. So the research findings are the results of the study conducted based on the data that were collected, analyzed, and interpreted. In writing the summary of findings, a researcher must take note of important points. Okay, so findings. So ito na yung resulta. Ano ba yung napag-alaman nyo after conducting your study? Okay, so first, it is not necessary to include all data that were collected and gathered in the summary. So the researcher makes a judgment call on which data are considered important and useful and must therefore be incorporated in the discussion of the research findings. Okay, so yun nga sinabi ko kanina, hindi naman lahat ng response ng mga respondents ay ilalagay mo sa study mo. So, mamimili ka lang, i-judge mo lang kung alin ba doon yung important at saka useful naman dun sa study mo. Okay, so based on the judgment of the researcher. Okay, again, hindi po lahat ng nakuhang data ay dapat ilagay. So, parang magbe-base ka lang kung ano nga lang ba yung mga sagot na kinakailangan dun sa yung SOP. Second, the researcher must ensure that he or she has clearly understood the data results he or she must summarize, condense, and simplify the data and discussion in the research findings. Finally, all data presented in the research findings must be properly explained. Okay, so yung second step naman natin, okay, so dapat as a researcher, alam mo talaga kung ano yung mga findings doon sa study nyo. Hindi yung hinuhula-hulaan mo lang. Kunwari, nakalagay doon sa chapter 4 nyo, you must accept your hypothesis. Pero nilagay mo doon sa findings mo, hindi nyo ina-accept yung hypothesis. So, hindi sila nagtutugma. Okay? So, dapat, as a researcher, you are aware ano nga ba yung result or findings doon sa discussion or doon sa inyong study. Next is to use tables and figures. So in both quantitative and qualitative research, the data results are explained and presented using statistics. So data tables and figures. So tables are efficient ways to present large amount of data using a limited amount of space. They are used to show, first, the exact numerical values. Second, the arrangement of data organized in manner that display columns and rows. Okay, so ito na yon yung kailangan gumamit na tayo ng tables and figures. So sabi dito, para daw makita yung exact numerical values, and pangalawa, para mas ma-organize yung ating data. So we have some things to remember about using tables. So identify the amount of data that the reader needs to understand in the presentation of data results. Determine which of the data results can be presented using tables. Tables must be properly arranged to present quantitative data clearly. 4. Tables must be used to supplement and not to duplicate the text. 5th, combine tables that repeat data. Identical columns or rows of data should be used in 2 or more data tables. All tables must be numbered using Indo-Arabic numerals. Yung Indo-Arabic, yung usual po na 1, 2, 3. Okay, not Roman numerals. So, all tables should have a brief, clear, and explanatory title. So, ito na yung mga napuna noong PR2 nyo. So, yung mga title po ng mga tables nyo, pakiayos po. Number 10, when citing tables in the text, refer to them using numbers. For example, as shown in Table 1, in the interview is stated that. Number 11, cite the source of table if it was lifted from other sources. Okay, it is very important yung citation po. Number 12, use an explanatory note at the bottom of the table to explain the abbreviation or other notations used in the table. So, pag sinabing abbreviation, ito yung mga shortcut, yung mga may meaning. For example, STEM, UMS, mga ganun po yun. Then, use illustrations and figures. Any form of illustration used in the study, other than tables, is classified as figure. A figure can be a chart, a graph, photo, a drawing, or any other related visual representation of data. It should be used in research to augment the text and to convey and express essential facts. Okay, so figure. So, alam nyo na din yan dahil nagawa nyo na yan nung PR2. Pag sinabi natin figure, so one example of this is your conceptual framework. Ano pa? So, yung mga picture na mga ginamit nyong mga materials dun sa inyong experiments. Okay? Next is writing narratives and discussions in qualitative research. In qualitative research, researchers explain the data, results, and findings by developing several subtopics and writing chapters that explain and answer the research problems vividly, and lengthily. So each chapter usually address a specific question mentioned in the research introduction. Okay, so writing a narrative. Pag sinabi nating narrative again, it narrates. Okay, ano nga ba yung nangyari dun sa research mo? What are your findings in your research? Okay, so and then you will explain your answers. Then each chapter usually address a specific question mentioned in the research introduction. Okay, so parang gagawa ka na po ng or sasagutan mo na po yung mga research questions nyo. Okay, so here are some tips in writing the research findings of the study. First is to research findings can be either prove or disprove the hypothesis of the study. So alam nyo na din yon kapag hypothesis, hindi naman dapat lagi yung tama. So pwede siyang ma-reject or ma-accept. So do not include data that do not help answer the research problem. So there are two ways to present the research findings. First is to provide a summary of the results and an explanation of the major research findings. Second is to present and explain each of the major results thoroughly. So the research findings must include the following. A short introduction should restate the research problem so that it properly contextualizes the discussion of the research findings. The research findings for both quantitative and qualitative research can use data tables and figures to illustrate, summarize, categorize, and organize the results of the study. Charts, bar or line graphs, maps, pictures, and other visual aids can be used to support the text of the data results. Number 4, use the past tense when presenting the results of the study. Use the template shown earlier when using tables and illustrations in the study. Next is drawing conclusions. Conclusions in research are abstractions of the summary of findings into what are the most important relation to the objectives of the study. They help readers understand the significance of the study. A conclusion synthesizes the main points of the research and answer the research question. A well-written conclusion must emphasize the main points discussed in the research results and data analysis section of the paper. Okay, so sa conclusion, ang ine-emphasize lang po dito is yung main point. Okay? Enumerate the following tips in formulating a conclusion. So, first, a conclusion must be concise and direct to the point. Second, a conclusion must be explained from specific to general. So, it starts by explaining the research problem, then it explains how the study adds new understanding or fills an important gap in the literature. Third, a conclusion must briefly explain how the study contributes to new knowledge or how it provides a new understanding or interpretation about the research problem. Then the conclusion is intended to help the reader understand why your research should matter to them after they have finished reading the paper. A conclusion is not merely a summary of your points or restatement of your research problem, but a synthesis of key. Okay, so usually dito nagtitingin kasi yung mga ibang researchers sa conclusion. So parang dito nila malalaman kung yung research mo ba is pwede lang gamitin dun sa kanilang research. So dapat nandun yung mga main points. Dapat nandun yung mga main na results. Okay, yan dun yung mga findings ng study nyo. So the conclusion section sums up the key points of your discussion. The essential features of your design or the significant outcomes of your investigation as it functions is to round off the story of your project. So it should be written to relate directly to the aims of the project as stated in the introduction, indicate the extent in which the aims have been achieved, summarize the key findings, outcomes, or information in your report, acknowledge limitations and recommendations for future work if applicable. So highlight the significance or usefulness of your work. Then making recommendations. Recommendations are suggestions for future studies. So based on the experiences and major findings of a researcher can give as many recommendations as he or she likes for as long as they are grounded in the findings, results, and conclusions of the study. A recommendation can be based on the following. So, eto na yung mga recommendation. Ano yung pwede mong i-recommend para mas ma-improve pa nila yung research nyo or magiging research nila. So, first, the negative results of the study, the weakness, shortfalls, the other similar factors that affect the study can be discussed as part of the recommendation. So, the researcher can offer a number of suggestions as to how to prevent the occurrence of negative results for future studies. Okay, so ito yung mga na-encounter nyong problem. Okay, so ano nga ba yung mga na-encounter nyong problem? Well, ginagawa po yung research na yun. So, para maiwasan yon ng mga susunod na may na-related dun sa inyong study. Next is the positive results of the research. So, they can provide new or additional courses of action to improve or to make more effective programs or policies. Third is possible areas of research within the topic. So there can be explored further by future researchers who are interested to study the same. Okay, yung positive result, ito yung mga suggestions that will improve your program. Okay, next po tayo. So recommendation is generally included at the end of the general discussion. It may propose an action or further research. So more specifically, recommendations may recommend follow-up or future work that remains to be done. such as carrying out research which seeks to replicate or extend your study. Letter B, carrying out new research which you were unable to attempt but feel it is necessary. And C, applying or considering the implications of your research. Next is reflexively caution or advise on problems, weaknesses, or omission of your own study. For example, a variable that still need to be examined. Okay, so parang to improve. B, weaknesses in your methodology such as unrepresentative or small sample. And C, the purpose here is so that other research can avoid the same pitfalls. So additional notes. The research findings are the results of the study conducted based on the data that were collected, analyzed, and interpreted. Number two, all data presented in research findings must be properly explained. Number three, a quantitative research paper usually contains section called data results and research findings. In this section, the researcher answers the research problems using results of the investigation or experiment. Number four, tables are efficient ways to represent or to present large amounts of data using limited amount of space. In qualitative research, researchers explain the data results and findings by developing several subtopics and writing chapters that explain and answer the research problems vividly and lengthily. Okay, last topic is about bibliography. So, citing and writing the bibliography, intellectually honesty should be practiced at all times in research writing. A researcher must remember that all ideas that were taken from a source of information must be acknowledged. As a golden rule, researchers must always cite all the sources that were used in the study in the research. So, gaya nga ng sinasabi ko palagi, when you are doing research, so wag po nating inaangkin ang mga idea na hindi naman talaga sa atin. Okay? So, maganda or dapat na we are using proper citation. Okay. So, researcher must first taking notes that do not distinguish the summarized and paraphrased text from the directly quoted text and present the quoted text as they are the researcher's own words. So, hindi po pwede yun. Again, so the researcher must taking notes that do not distinguish the summarized and paraphrased text from the directly quoted text and present the quoted text as if they are the researcher's own words. Okay, so eto na yon yung kinaka-copy-paste mo and then hindi mo naman sinasitate kung kanino ba galing yon and then pinaangkin mo na lang siya. So, nagmumukhang gawa mo siya. Pero yung totoo, kinuha mo lang naman sa internet. So, hindi po pwede yon. Okay? Directly copying and pasting a text from the internet and including the said text in the research paper without quotation marks or without citing the sources. Okay, so minsan nangyayari po ito. Tapos nailalagay pa po doon yung mga 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sa taas. Hindi man lang nabubura. So, hindi naman nila ginagamitan ng proper citation, pero nagmumukha doon na parang gawa nila. Pero yun nga lang, nakakalimutan po nilang tanggalin yung mga marka. Okay? So, make sure na hindi basta-basta copy-paste yung nilalagay po natin sa research po natin. Next is citing facts without mentioning the source of the information. Summarizing and or paraphrasing someone's wording without acknowledging the source. Copying a part of text, phrase, or concept from the source without acknowledging the source and its author. Okay, so yan yung mga hindi lang pa-acknowledge dun sa mga author. Letter F, paraphrasing or using someone's arguments, idea, or theory without acknowledging the sources. Letter G, acquiring a research paper, copying its content, and submitting it to your teacher. Okay, ito na yung sobrang sipag na estudyante. So, kokopyahin na lang yung laman ng research paper ng iba, and then ipapasa na sa teacher. Okay, so plagiarism can be avoided by identifying the sources of every text that is directly quoted, paraphrased, and summarized in the paper. This will help the researcher in determining the sources of the text used in the study. Okay, so dapat iniiwasan yung plagiarism. So, paano daw may iwasan yon? So, kapag naglalagay po tayo ng mga citations po dun sa mga kinukuha po nating mga information from other studies. So, purpose of citing sources. First is to give credit to the original author of a work. Second is to promote scholarly writing. Third is to help you target audience identify your original source. So forms of citation. So in-text citation requires the writer to cite the details of the reference used in a certain part of his or her essay. The format of in-text citation vary per style. Okay, so yung in-text citation, yun yung nilalagay nating mga citation sa ating mga paragraph. Okay, so kunwari may kinuha kang information doon sa isang study. So, tapos ilalagay mo doon sa iyong, kunwari, introduction. So, you will be using in-text citation. Ito yung mga nakikita po nating mga according to, based on the study of, mga naka-open close parentheses. So, ito po yun, in-text citation. So, ito yung example po niya ng in-text citation. Next is the reference citation. Refers to the complete bibliographic entries of all references used by the writer. Find at the last part of the paper. So, ito po yan. Okay, so ito yung mga styles, guides, pero ang usually ginagamit po natin is yung APA format. So, that ends my discussion. So, I hope may natutunan po kayo. So, that is our topic for fourth quarter. And, humingi po ako ng pasensya sa kadahilan ng nag-video lesson tayo. Though, may mga na-discuss naman na part. Pero, I'm making this video para din mas pwede nyo pang balikan. And also, I want you to focus sa inyong ginagawa pong study. So, parang yun po yung magiging requirements po ninyo. So, I hope napanood nyo po itong video na to. So, that would be all. Once again, I'm Miss Junalyn A. Gongora, your subject teacher in III, and thank you for watching.